Hey guys, welcome. Today we're going to be discussing about maternal mortality ratio in relevance to Millennium Development Goals. To begin with, what is maternal mortality? Maternal mortality is the death occurring in women during pregnancy or within 42 days of abortion of the said fetus, wherein the death is caused by the pregnancy or aggravated by the pregnancy. And maternal mortality rate is the number of such deaths per 100,000 live births. Moving on, let's look at Millennium Development Goals. Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs, were put forth by the United Nations in the year 2000, and they were a set of eight objectives, and they were mostly focused on the more important crises at that time in 2000. And we're like eradicating extreme poverty and hunger, for that matter. We're going to be today focusing on just the fifth objective of the eight, which is improving maternal health. The fifth objective was actually split into two, 5A and 5B, which was related to improving maternal health, wherein the first part, 5A, was aiming to reduce by 3/4 the maternal mortality ratio by the year 2015 compared to 1990. And the results were astounding as well. Since 1990, the maternal ratio by the year 2014 had decreased by 50%, was actually cut by maternal mortality ratio was nearly cut in half, most of which had actually taken place since the year 2000, wherein Millennium Development Goals came into act. More than 71% of births were assisted by skilled health personnel globally in the year 2014, an increase of 59% in 1990, since 1990. Target 5B, the second part of this objective, aimed at providing universal access to reproductive health, which also majorly contributed to maternal mortalities. With universal proper access to reproductive health, the child or fetus wouldn't have to quit before birth, or can be taken care of post-birth till the child actually attains a self-sustainable age. Moving on, maternal mortality by the Millennium Development Goals had come to an end by the year 2015, and the United Nations had actually published the Millennium Development Goals report by the year 2015, and a few claims of that are listed here. The first two we just discussed. Since 1990, the maternal mortality ratio was cut in half, and most of that was after 2000. More than 71% of the births were assisted by skilled healthcare workers globally in the year 2014, which was an increase by 59% since 1990. In developing regions, only 56% of the births in rural areas are attended by skilled health personnel, compared to an 87% in urban areas. There's a huge gap there between urban and rural. Similarly, also only half of the pregnant women in developing regions received a recommended minimum of 4 antenatal care visits. Antenatal is pre-birth, wherein a healthcare professional comes and visits, which was actually set to a minimum of 4. Currently, we just go to a hospital and get our checks done, but it's actually set to a minimum of 4, wherein people can't afford to go to a hospital, so a healthcare professional has to come and visit them before or pre-birth. Just 51% of the countries have data on maternal cause of death. Had actually in the year 2015, which would mean a staggering 49% of countries didn't have proper data on maternal causes of death, which could be attributed to many things: reproductive health, sanitary problems, many more. Moving on, maternal survival, as we have discussed so far, had significantly improved since the adoption of Millennium Development Goals. Southern Asia and Eastern Asia have made the greatest of progresses in reducing maternal mortality, including the sub-Saharan Africa. Despite this progress, every day hundreds of women still die during pregnancy from childbirth-related complications. This could be also attributed to unavailability or inaccessibility or even unaffordability to proper medical health care, which was also an objective in the Millennium Development Goals project. Moving on, here's a chart of the performance of various regions in maternal mortality ratio. Millennium. This was also part of. This was also part of the report published in the year 2015 by the United Nations, where in sub-Saharan Africa, as we can see, had a huge 990 maternal deaths per 100,000, 990, which had come down to 510, an increase, a decrease in almost 50%, which was actually the case in South Asia, where it was 530 in 1990, and which reduced to 190 in 2013. Southern Asia and Eastern Asia had also made one of the greatest of progresses in this particular field. Despite this progress, still every day hundreds of women die during pregnancy from childbirth-related complications, and this would have been and this had made a huge part of the Sustainable Development Goals, which currently is in action. Maternal mortality rate so far we've discussed globally, and maternal mortality rate in India and its performance so far. In the year 2018, former Union Health Minister of India, J.P. Nadda, had mentioned that India had met the MDG target for millennial maternal mortality rate ratio of 139 per lakh live births by achieving 130 by 2015, which India had. We had not just achieved 139 per 100,000, we had actually gone down by another 9 to 130 by the year 2015, which was the set target time for the Millennium Development Goals. The maternal mortality ratio in India has further now declined from 130 in 2015 to 122 in the year 2017 to 113 in the year 2018. So currently we're making significant progress, whereas according to Sustainable Development Goals, we are actually moving towards a 70 per 100,000 live births by the year 2030. Moving on, here are the 17 goals that was taken up by the United Nations for the Sustainable Development Goals. The target we're referring to here is the target 3.1, a subset of the third objective, which is good health and well-being, which also under its clause says was set by the United Nations, which aims to reduce the global maternal mortality ratio to less than 70 per 100,000 live births. India, as we've seen so far, currently is at 113, by the year 2018. We're still waiting on live data as of current. So healthy trends, a chart for our consideration. Healthy trend, the maternal mortality ratio between 2016 and 18 dropped to 113 in India. As we've discussed, almost 100 deaths lesser than the year 2007 and 9 period. So what we've discussed so far is the maternal mortality ratio, maternal mortality and Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals. India, particularly since the year 2007 and 9, where we had 213 deaths per 100,000, or 213 maternal mortality cases, we had actually come down to 113, 100 less since the year 2009. So Sustainable Development Goals, in short, had, after the success of the Millennium Development Goals, United Nations had actually expanded the reach of such goals, which was later renamed to Sustainable Development Goals, now taken under the clause of 17 objectives, and trying to achieve all of this by the year 2030. It was actually published in the year 2015, right after the report that was published on Millennium Development Goals. So that's it so far. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.